Hello and welcome to tutorial 6 for GDTK stats. In this tutorial we will be looking at attributes and leveling up. So let's get started. We're going to go into our stats database and select attributes, and we're going to add 3 new attributes. Now, what is an attribute in GDTK stats? Well, it's a simple Boolean. You either have it or you don't. And you can do whatever you like with it. It can be for display purposes only. You can hook into it with custom code, or stats can respond to it as well. So these ones that we're going to enter right now are going to be used by stats, but again, you can consume them however you like. So we've got endurance training here, which is going to lower the sprint cost. And we're going to add fleet-footed, which increases normal and sprint speed. And you can see there's nothing else in here besides just the basic info that goes with items, with IDs, title, etc. Finally, we're going to do thick-skinned, which decreases all slashing damage. Alright, so we'll hit save there. And let's see how we're going to apply these things. So we're going to go into our saw traps first. And we're going to go into the damage sources. And the way you can do these is by checking has attrib. So we're going to do minus has attrib thick skin times 2.5. So what we're going to do here is we're reducing the damage by half if they have this attribute. So has attrib is going to come back with either a 0 or a 1. So if they don't have it, it'll be 0 times 2.5, which will be 0. And if it does have the attribute, it will come back as 1. So that will go ahead and take care of slashing damage for this guy. Let's go ahead and put it on this one as well. And we'll hit save there. Now, in order to add the attributes, we are going to have to, one more time, upgrade our stats. So first we'll go ahead and export this, and we'll just replace the one that we did in a previous tutorial. And we will remove stats and effects, and we will add player character stats. There is also an NPC stats, but we're skipping that and going straight to player stats. NPC stats just loses a couple of things like leveling and whatnot, while still adding additional options. So we will import our data, and we'll see that we have our damage modifiers and our stats. We also have new items for leveling and attributes. And we'll go ahead and add the thick-skinned attribute. Yes, as always, we need to re-register this as player, and we need to reassign it to the damage receiver. Now, if we walk in, we'll be able to see that we're going to take less damage than we otherwise would, so there's that one hit. And if we go and remove thick-skinned and go back in, we should see that that is different. So let's add that back in, and this time pay attention to the damage number that comes up above the head. 2.5. Perfect. That's exactly what we were wanting. So let's also make it so that we can see the attributes on our list. We're going to go into the canvas and select the stat effect list. And the way that these operate is that they just dump their data into a content transform. So you can have multiple lists on one transform, which is what we're going to do here. We're going to do an attribute list item, or list UI. We're going to find and register from the player. We're going to set this as the content, and now we just need to go ahead and create a prefab. So we will create a new panel, switch over to game view so we can see it better. We'll give it an attrib background, make it nice and dark. Pardon me. We'll add an image here. I believe this is the same offset we used last time. We'll give it a little placeholder as well. Preserve aspect. So this will be attribute sprite. This will be attribute item UI. And because all it has is the basic info to it, we will assign it a basic info UI. Set that as the image. And we're going to make this into a prefab. And we will add that prefab into our attribute list UI. And now if we start back up, we will see that attribute in our list. There you go. So now that we have a basic understanding of attributes, let's create the ability to level up our character and then give the player rewards as they level up, including attributes. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove that attribute from the list, and we're going to create some items to help us level up. Now, I'm going to show a progress bar for the level, and in order to do that, I also want it to reset back to 0 every time they level up and be proportional to what the next level is. So for this, we're going to need 4 different stats. The first one we're going to do is XP. And this will just be what controls our leveling up, and we're going to set it as a maximum of 6,400. Then we're going to set our level is going to be a conditional value, so we're going to go down to value. We're going to select this button right here and set conditional. And we're going to say if 330 is greater than XP, our level is 1. And if 960 is greater than XP, our level is 2. And 2900 will be 3. And 6,400 will be 4, and everything else will leave blank because we're maxing out at level 5 here. So if it's at 64 or above, 6,400 or above, we are level 5. So we're going to use this, and of course you could use a formula, but sometimes your XP levels don't equate to a single formula, and this is how we're going to handle that. So we'll add another stat, and this is going to be, name this XP base, and this will be how much XP we needed to get to the level that we currently are. So again, it'll be conditional, and we'll do if level equals 1, our base is 0. For level 2, it's 330. For level 3, it is 960. For level 4, it is going to be 2900. And for everything else, it's going to be 6,400. And now for our final stat, this is going to be XP to level. So how much XP does it take us to get to the next level from where we currently are? Also, we should update these maximums. So that one is going to be maximum 6,400. This is leveling, so that's going to be a maximum of 5. This is also going to be 6,400. Okay, so for this one, if level equals 1, then now it's actually going to be 330. This is what we need to get to the next level. And if level equals 2, we're going to need 960. For level 3, we need 2,900. And for all other levels, because we can't go beyond 5, we're going to need 6,400. So that takes care of the stats. Now let's go ahead and tie those into a progress bar. So we will duplicate our our stamina once again. And let's go into scene view so we can drag it properly how we want it. Looks pretty good. Actually, we're also going to go back to player and give XP an icon, because that's going to be our base value. So this is going to be level icon, and this will be level progress bar. And for this, the value of it is going to be XP. The minimum is going to be XP base, and the maximum is going to be XP level. We'll also go ahead and change the fill color here to be sort of a yellow. And let's show the player what their level is in text as well. So we'll do a UI GDTK stats stat label, and this will be level label. And we'll make this a top left, 0, 1. And we'll just set it right underneath the progress bar. Switch back to game view so we can see how that looks. Okay. And this format is going to be, well, first we're going to select it from the registry of player, and we're going to look at level, and this will be level value. We're also going to go into this new particle effect that I've added, and we're going to add in an area of effect. We're going to set this, it doesn't need its own stat source. It's going to be a sphere cast. It will apply continually, and it will affect XP, and it will add 5, and we'll say times global difficulty. So if we increase the difficulty, we can go ahead and increase our XP gain size. Okay, that should be enough to get us started out on showing our XP and level. So let's go ahead and press play here and have a look. So we start off as level 1. And in here I made a typo somewhere, so let's go ahead and find what stat that was. I put a space in between X and P here, making it think that those were two different stat names, neither of which it could find. And now we've got it running just fine. So we'll go ahead and run over here and start gaining some experience. Here we go, so level 2, level 3, And you can see it slows down because we're going a quite larger distance with each level up. So now that we have that, let's give our players some rewards. And we're going to do this in a couple of different ways. Let's start with the most direct, which is in level up rewards. We're going to add a new one. And this is going to be all levels. There's going to be no requirement. And we're going to add a stat modifier or two, where we're going to say we're going to target health. And we're going to immediately add health max. We'll do the same for stamina. So because there's no requirement, every single time we level up, the player will be given this. And what this is going to do is ensure that when they level up, they heal to full and they get all their stamina back. We'll also add another one, level 2, and this will be level equals to 2. So you'll only get this the one time. And we'll do an add-on option. And we'll say that you get an attribute. And you're going to get all of the attributes that I put into this list. And we're going to do endurance training. So as soon as you hit level 2, you get endurance training. We're also going to make it so that higher levels, level is greater than or equal to 3. We're going to give you some choices. So again, it's going to be an attribute, and you're going to be able to pick any single attribute you want that you do not already own, because we've got exclude owned right here. So at level 2, you'll get automatically endurance training. At level 3, you'll be able to pick from fleet-footed or thick-skinned. And then at level 4, you'll get whichever one you didn't already have. And at level 5, you'll get nothing because we'll be out of things to grant. But we will get that as we go into classing and multi-classing. So the one last thing that we're going to need is, because this allows us to pick an option, so we need to give the player a way to do that. So we're going to create a new panel once again. And this will be a full screen panel, no background, very, very dark. And this will be an add-on choice list UI. And you'll see here we've got a couple of options. We've got the auto close. And what that does is, if, let's say, the player can choose one option, as soon as they choose that one option, it will close itself. You may want to uncheck this option if you want the player to be able to toggle back and forth before finally hitting a confirm button at the bottom. It also, by default, sets the time scale to 0 when it opens. And when it closes, it restores whatever time scale it was when it opened. So if it was at 1, it'll go back to 1. If it was at 0.2, it'll go back to 0.2. So we'll go ahead and name this add-on choice list UI. And we're also going to create another panel in here to sort of display our list in a nice smooth manner. So we're going to horizontal center that, or vertically center that, sorry. And we're going to make that about 450 tall. No background, but we will do a horizontal list group. And we're going to do that in the center with a spacing of 32, I think sounds good. So this will be this container. And now we'll create another panel that's going to be the actual choice prefab. So we'll just make this completely solid, and let's go ahead. We'll add in the choice UI to begin with. And as you can see, this is basically just a basic UI, but also with a click to select. So as long as that option is checked, when you click it, it will tell the list that this has been selected. So we'll name this add-on choice UI. And we're going to create a image that's going to hold another image. So this is just going to, this is just for looks right here. Not that it's the super best look ever, it's just a prototype, but it's enough to get us going, I think. So this will contain our image, so this will be image container. And inside of it, we will put another image which will actually display our icon. So we'll do, let's see. That seems pretty good. Let's put a placeholder in there so we can do preserve aspect. And this will be choice sprite. And then we're going to add a couple of labels so that we can display information about it. Okay, so this will be title, and this will be description. Let's go ahead and set title. Oops. Let's have a look to make sure we've got that at a good height. We'll shrink that down a little bit. Good. Yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty good. So let's go ahead and put in our image and our title and our description. And we'll make this into a prefab. And we'll set the list container to be content, and we will set the attribute list item, or sorry, the add-on choice. Here we go. And we will make a prefab out of this guy as well. And the last thing that we're going to need to do is we'll return to our player one more time. We'll select leveling, and our level stat will be level. And our UI options will have this add-in choice list UI. Now there is one checkbox right here. This is useful for preventing level up during combat. So if you're in combat, you can go ahead and set this checked, and it'll prevent level up, but you will still gain the XP so that when you uncheck it, you will immediately get your level. Even if you've gained multiple levels, you'll get them all back to back. So you'll get level 2 and then level 3 and then level 4 and so on. So let's go ahead and have a quick look at how this works. And in fact, we'll go ahead and we'll prevent level gain to begin with. So we'll start here. And now we had way more XP than we needed to get to level 2. You can see we actually went all the way to level 3. And if we look at attributes, we've already gotten our level 2 reward. Now we're on to level 3. We'll select thick-skinned. And now when we have level 4, because we have no choices left, it automatically selects our final choice for us. Because why display that to the user if they can only have one option? So we'll go through one more time without having the level locked, and watch that go through. We'll also go ahead, we're going to take some damage here so that we can see our items returning to full as we gain our level. So there we go, and boom, back to full. We've got our first right there. We'll select fleet-footed this time, and then thick-skinned will be given to us automatically. Beautiful. So we did hook up the thick skin. We didn't hook up, however, the swift-footed or the endurance training. So let us go to sprint speed, and that's going to be, we'll do plus, has attrib, swift-footed. So we'll go up by 1 if we have it. And we'll do the same thing for our normal speed. And then the last one is endurance training, so that's sprint cost. And that will be minus 7.5 times has attrib. Endurance training. So now if we go and get all these attributes, we'll be able to see them in effect. Exactly like we did with the damage dealers. So if we look at our sprint cost right here, we can see that it went down because we automatically gained that one item, the endurance training. Now if we look at the sprint speed, did I type that incorrectly? Sprint speed should have gone up. I said swift-footed, but it is fleet-footed. So we'll do that in both of these. So sprint cost starting went down. We'll do fleet-footed, and we can see an increase in both of those speeds. All right, that will do it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be looking at background and race, which will introduce traits. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time.